Starting a new game can sometimes have us under the impression that if we just go along with the story and the gameplay, that we'll do all that is needed to understand and succeed. And especially when it comes to a series like Remnant, a Souls-like, when I'm beating bosses and progressing, I can just assume that it's like any other Souls-like and I'll be alright. Well, not exactly. There are a few things I wish I had known sooner, and also things I knew but I wish I did sooner, and it probably would have helped me not pull as much hair out. Here are the 5 things I wish I knew before starting Remnant 2. Number 1, dual archetypes. Listen, this whole list is going to have those Remnant and Souls snobs pulling their hair out, but I don't care, okay? All I can do is speak my truth. I did not use the dual archetypes until very late in the game, and yes, I regret it. I went a very long time as just the hunter class and only using those perks, and while they're good, I should have opened up my gameplay and added a second archetype. The obvious reason is of course more perks, more skills, but also to level it up much sooner would have been wise, because now I'm trying to farm already seen areas and then re-roll adventure mode to now level up my second archetype. I went with Gunslinger after seeing this awesome build video, which I'll link in the description, and on top of trying to level this up, I'm also trying to level up a boss weapon that is part of the build I want as well. And that brings me to my next regret, and that is that I should have leveled up this thing much sooner. Boss weapons are not only cool looking, but they can really do some damage. This gun, for example, the Nightfall, has a mod where it has unlimited ammo for a short period of time. And with the right perks and it simply just being leveled up, of course, it can do even more damage. Not to mention there's an achievement for getting a boss weapon to level 10, which is even more reason to do it. So here I am late game trying to level it up, and it's requiring specific types of iron that are kind of hard to come by. I know, it's simple, right? But again, it's just something I decided to do later in the game and I should have done much sooner. Speaking of iron, something else I wish I knew sooner was this beautiful person right here, Cass. Cass is an NPC that routinely sells iron, and anytime you go out into the world and then you come back to her, she is restocked with more iron. So that means regular iron, forged iron, and most importantly, galvanized and hardened iron, which are kind of hard to come by later on. And it's what we need to level up our weapons in the later levels. Once we see that specific iron drop in the world, then Cass starts to have them in her stock. She's super helpful in getting us to level up our weapons quicker, and I just wish I had bought from her much sooner. Cass, of course, hangs out at Ward 13 among a lot of other NPCs, and that brings me to number 4. I should have talked to these NPCs sooner. You never know what they'll say, or they can sell to you. I spent most of my first playthrough just kind of leveling up my guns and mods only, but there's also this other dude who can level up your mutators, which of course help with your builds and making your character stronger. I started upgrading these once I started working on that build I mentioned before, and thankfully I didn't do it too late in the game. But again, I could have started much sooner and probably have this benefit me greatly in my playthrough. And lastly, we have the Relics. Now, we all know the Relics are what heals us. Much like the Estus Flask system, they regen after death, and they're always there to help. But what I started doing very late game was trying the other Relics out. They sometimes have cons, but the pros can be super beneficial depending on the boss or the area. This one, for example, I feel will help me in the final boss, which is where I'm struggling right now. But I'm trying this out because it has benefits for mods, which I want to use as much as possible on this boss. So using different relics and then looking for them in the playthrough, as well as looking for more rings and more items to help with my playthrough, of course, is beneficial. I've been using the rings like crazy, but I kind of wish I would have used different ones early on. But yeah, these are just some of the things that can be overlooked so easily. And if you're new to this channel or you just haven't really noticed before, I can be very stubborn or just set in my ways when it comes to video games, and especially Souls-like games. If it's not broke, I don't really fix it. And when I get by and I beat the bosses with my build as it is, I just kind of stick with it. And I don't really look for ways to advance it. It's such a bad habit that I actively work on, and Remnant 2 is a great game to make me break that habit because the benefits are there for me to find. If I just look for them, it will help me so much. So that's my top 5 things I wish I did sooner. After 40 plus hours in the game, I hope it can help any of you who are earlier or just starting out. Don't make the same mistakes I did. So that's my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments section. If there's anything else you'd like to add, maybe something you wish you did sooner or you knew sooner, definitely let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in my next video.